Today on the Bangkok Says podcast, we're going to be discussing YouTube putting 4K content behind a paywall, YouTube being a dead platform, and then I'll be answering a couple of your questions, so go ahead and stick around. We are going to start with the most outrage-inducing topic this week. YouTube is running an experiment, or YouTube ran an experiment, where they put 4K video behind a paywall. Can you believe it? They put 4K video behind a paywall. I am going to preface this entire story by pointing out this is way out of my wheelhouse for a multitude of reasons. First, I don't produce 4K content. I don't have the highest quality computer. It is 5 years old at this point. It can't really handle 4K too well. Also, my SD cards are 64 gigs. That seems like a lot. It is a lot. For 1080p video, for 1080p footage, that's more than fine. I can get 4 hours of footage on that SD card. 4 hours and 19 minutes, I think. And for these podcasts, I record 1.5 hours most of the time. And that is fine. I have 2 cameras, so I will have 2 SD cards. If I was doing 4K footage, the amount I could capture on that SD card drops to 1 hour. It's 4 times the data. 1 hour on my SD card, so I would need to spend a lot of money getting new SD cards that are higher capacity. Or I would need to have 4 SD cards for a talking head podcast. I don't think that level of resolution is necessary. Also, I do the podcasted reviews 1080p. Don't really see much reason to go to 4K. I'm sure some people would like it. Most people wouldn't care. We'll get into that later. Then for watches, I could understand that because you're doing macro shots and you are really looking at the minutia of a watch. You are looking at it under a microscope. For watch content, I understand it. If you're looking that closely at watches, chances are you have a bit more disposable income. You're probably going to have premium. This will not affect you. If you're spending $20,000 on a watch, pay the $12 for premium so you can get the 4K. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's why I am still using 1080p 30 FPS with a little bit of a tangent. I don't think this really matters that much. I don't think this is going to impact many people. I don't think many people are going to notice this. As I mentioned, this is out of my wheelhouse, so I wanted to get an expert's opinion. So I went ahead and watched the WAN show on Linus Tech Tips. The reason I went to them to see what they were saying, they have been producing 4K, maybe even 8K video for at least 5 years at this point, maybe longer, maybe 10 years. They've been doing 4K. So they would be the ones to go to see what their take is on 4K footage, putting 4K footage behind a paywall. And on top of just producing it, they are distributing 4K footage because they started their own video platform, Floatplane. And the reason they did that was to offer higher quality video and higher quality audio. They ran a poll, they talked to the people who use their platform. I don't know how they got this information. They found out one person on the entire platform cares about the better video and the better audio. Nobody else cared. But on top of that, they shared a stat from a YouTube study that was run, and this indicates that even fewer people actually care about 4K footage. The way that YouTube ran this experiment was they would automatically drop the quality of a video, and not just a little bit, by a lot. If you were watching 4K, they would drop it to 480p. 1080p down to 480p, something like that. The study found that only 1.5% of people actually clicked the gear icon and changed it back to 4K or a higher resolution. 1.5% of people actually changed it back. That really puts things into perspective. How much people actually care about it. Or maybe not how much people care about it, but how many people actually notice the difference or are concerned with the difference from 4K to 1080 or 4K to 480. Because a lot of the times you don't need that level of resolution. As long as the audio isn't degraded, my spoken word talking head video is fine in 480, in 320 or 360, whatever the heck it is. In 240, it becomes pretty much unwatchable. 480p, I don't think anybody would have any complaints watching this podcast, as long as the audio wasn't destroyed. For my review videos, same story. Unless I am doing this software walkthrough, that's where 4K really comes into play. But because I do edit in 1080p, if I am doing something, I understand if it's not going to be visible, so I will zoom in on it so that you are able to see it in 1080p. I work around that because I don't export 4K. So I understand that. You can edit around that if you know that it's not going to be available in the highest resolution, in the original resolution that you capture it in. The reason I'm saying that is when I'm capturing software I capture on my iMac, that captures 5K. I'm not going to release a 5K video, so I just zoom all the way in and focus on the things that are necessary so it can be visible at 1080p. That's beside the point. Going back to the topic at hand, something that I hadn't considered was the cost. I don't have to think about this. I don't run a video platform. But the guys over at the WAN show, they run Floatplane. They distribute video content. They disclosed that 4K video distribution comes with a significant cost increase because the data of that video file is so much more. I think it's 4 times more than 1440. Maybe it's 4 times more than 1080p. Based on my data usage on the SD cards, I think it's 4 times more than 1080p. That's a big increase. You're going to have to pay for that via bandwidth or with your bandwidth costs, and that can add up. So that is something that I hadn't considered, and that makes sense. Google and YouTube are companies. They don't exist to just distribute stuff or put stuff out of the goodness of their heart. They have no heart. They're a soulless corporation. If a product becomes not profitable, they're going to kill it. So the option is allow them to try to make it profitable. If you like 4K video on YouTube, if you like 8K video on YouTube, wouldn't you rather them maintain the capability of distributing 4K and 8K content so that if you really want it, if there is a benefit, you can still have access to it, as opposed to them saying, you know what, 4K, 8K, not profitable, let's just completely cut it off. Let's not allow that at all. That's one way they could have gone. And I don't think anybody could really argue if it wasn't profitable, if it was just a money pit that they were throwing money into, saying, we've always had it, we need to always have it in the future. Oh well, let's just burn money. No, they're going to say, let's make it profitable or kill the product. That's how it works. Something that I would like to see data on, though, because I think this would be very interesting. A lot of the people that I have encountered online who talk about high-end monitors that are 4K, high refresh rate, 8K monitors, just the best monitors out there, those are the people who consume 4K content and higher. Those are also the people who I see talking about the best ad blockers, how to implement ad blockers. Oh, you need to use an ad blocker. So they are consuming the highest cost version of the content on YouTube while eliminating any way for YouTube to earn money from those views. So maybe that's why 4K content is going behind a paywall. Because the people consuming 4K content are the more tech-savvy people, and the more tech-savvy people are going to be more likely to be able to implement and install and set up an ad blocker, which eliminates them as somebody who earns YouTube any money to pay for the distribution of that content. Something to think about. I would love to see data on that. It would be impossible to get, though. So to summarize my thoughts here, for me as a content creator, this has zero impact because I still produce 1080p 30 FPS. As a viewer, I consume at 1080p. Very rarely have I gone to 1440 or even 4K. And based on the YouTube study, where only 1.5% actually went to change it from 480p back up to 4K or 1440 or 1080p, seems like a lot of people will not be caring about it. It makes sense if the 4K video distribution was losing them money, it makes sense for them to try to make it profitable so that they can continue to offer that as a service. Makes sense to me. I understand why a lot of people will be angry about it because you had it as an option, now you don't. Never fun. That's never fun. But if putting 4K or 8K video behind a paywall allows them to continue to offer the distribution of that quality of video as a service, it may suck, but it makes sense because according to the WAN show, according to Luke, was it, who does a lot of the logistics for Floatplane, I guess, seems to be quite cost intensive to distribute that type of video. And when pushed and asked, what would your cutoff be where you just walk away from YouTube where they limit the video? I think he said 480p, 720p. He would still watch it because the content on YouTube has so much value. That's where the good content is, or not all the good content, but people go to YouTube for the content, not for the video quality. If the quality content went off of YouTube, then that's a different story. There's currently no competition to YouTube. I will link the WAN show video discussing this. It's the first 40 minutes of the podcast. Very interesting discussion. I look forward to seeing the entire dedicated video about it because that's what they do. They produce 4K, 8K, maybe 8K. I know they produce 4K video on Linus Tech Tips. I'll be curious to see how they approach it. I think they're going to say it may not be fun, but it makes sense because of the cost associated with hosting and distributing that quality of video. And I'll also link in Ars Technica article if you want to check that out. That is it for the news. That's the only thing I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about what I've been testing. You have been listening to it. Elgato Wave DX, $100 broadcast-looking dynamic microphone. Disclosure, sent to me by Elgato or Corsair to review. It is a bright microphone. Kind of a resonant microphone. Doesn't do the best at shock rejection. So that's something that I noticed. That is running into the Lewitt. How fitting. The Lewitt Connect 6, again, full disclosure, sent to me by Lewitt to review. That interface is $300. Very feature-rich. Very, very feature-rich. Lots of I/O, good I/O, and DSP processing. The reason I'm excited about that, the plugin selection. They are offering a compressor and an EQ, which a lot of other companies have started to roll out, compression and EQ. But the thing that differentiates it, an expander. An expander at this price point is an outstanding decision because I think for most people doing voice calls, doing meetings, doing podcasting, an expander is going to be probably the most valuable tool in the signal chain. Allowing them to bring down the noise floor without having that really obnoxious gate sound is going to be very helpful for a lot of people. I think that was very smart of them to include that. Review of the Elgato mic Tuesday. Then the following week, I will have my review of the Connect 6. Not to be confused with the Connect 4. And currently, I am only using the compressor on it. I'm not using the expander because, as I mentioned before, I just don't like... Actually, I'll go ahead and turn it on now. I'll go ahead and turn on the expander. For this, I am doing a max attenuation of negative 20 dB. My threshold is negative 49 dB. So once we get below 49 decibels, it starts to attenuate the signal even more, which brings the noise floor down a little bit. Attack 0.2 milliseconds, release 10 milliseconds. Just a really well thought out device. Okay. What do we have next? We have what you had to say. The first comment comes from Sound Speeds. He says, I tried 5 shorts, 1 per week for 3 weeks. My second got 13,000 views and gained me 72 subscribers. The others each got 1,000 subs and gained me 1 subscriber. I'm guessing 1,000 views and 1 subscriber. I'm thinking about running another test for discoverability of older videos. Only older videos that are at 300 views over 5 years or something like that. Alan, thank you very much for the comment. I really like the idea here of trying to find a way to reframe content to offer value to your audience, because if your older videos do have value to offer your audience and they were not able to find that content, I see no reason why you shouldn't do that. I look forward to seeing how you approach that because it'll be interesting. It's a new way to look at shorts. I am still trying to figure them out, trying to learn how to do them properly, trying to decipher what the most valuable way to make them is. So I will be watching and I will be analyzing what you do. Something that I really like Alan's approach to a lot of these projects that he takes on, kind of like he's ordering a pilot, I think he's called it, where he says, I am going to order 8 episodes of this podcast, speed bumps, and see how it goes. After 8, maybe people want more, maybe not. I really like that approach. And that's something that I have been trying to adopt as well. This idea that it's not permanent, it's just an experiment. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to put in some work to see how it does, see if people like it, see if people hate it, and see if people want more. If they do, I'll continue down that road. If they don't, I'll stop. I like that idea. Thank you very much, Alan. I look forward to seeing what you do. Next comment comes from Daniel, and he says, Hi, Andrew. You should try Facebook, man. Look, I have experienced almost the same you have described about TikTok, YouTube, and so. And what I found was that, surprisingly, Facebook is doing better than YouTube, even in the traditional video format. It appears that in Facebook, the audience is more committed to share the videos of the creators they like. And for that reason, they grow in views. I don't know, viral may be the word. P.S. I love your content. Daniel, thank you very much for the comment. I really do appreciate it. I will admit, I may be stupid for not using Facebook because a lot of companies use Facebook and a lot of companies have great success using Facebook. But I wrote off that platform years ago for a very specific reason. I've discussed it in the past on the show, but I will reiterate it for anybody who hasn't heard this. I used to I didn't upload my content to Facebook. I would share my content on Facebook. And I had a few hundred followers at the time. My content would not go to the subscribers or the followers on the platform. That's not the biggest deal. The biggest deal was that this started to occur once they started allowing for you to boost your page. So they limited the distribution so that you would have to pay to reach the people who followed your content. That left a bad taste in my mouth. In the past, you could post content, it would reach the people who were interested in your content, and then they said, let's make some money off of this. We're going to show your content only to those who you pay us to show it to. I didn't like that. So I gave up on it. I know a lot of podcasters still love Facebook. A lot of podcasters still use it to great effect. For me, it just doesn't fit. Especially, I still have that bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to pay to reach the people who followed my page. Not going to do it. On principle alone. And that may be me being stupid. I may be dumb. Giving up and missing out on an entire audience. So be it. Thank you very much, Daniel. I appreciate you. Next, we have a comment from, I apologize, I am going to butcher your name, Luco por Microfones. I butchered that. I'm reviewing microphones here and TikTok too. My channel is a new one. On TikTok, I'm growing fast, and here, nothing happens. YouTube is a dead place. Luco, thank you very much for the comment. I really do appreciate it. I have to disagree with you on this one, though. I do not believe that YouTube is dead. I don't think it's a dead platform. I don't think it's a dead place. Do I think YouTube is difficult to grow on? Yes. Do I think YouTube is becoming more and more confused about what it is by trying to compete with TikTok? Absolutely. I have been talking about something very similar to this for years. User expectations on a platform. I think I initially started to discuss this when Instagram or Facebook was getting into long-form video, or maybe it was Facebook getting into podcasting. It was 2017, I think, that I was talking about this. Let's assume it was the long-form video on Instagram. What do users opening Instagram want to do? Scroll through a feed and look at photos of people on vacation to make them feel like their body is inferior, whatever it is that people love about Instagram. They don't open up the app to watch a 12, a 20, a 30-minute video. They go there for a quick, bite-sized, scroll type of content, not long-form video. So when this was announced, I was suggesting or forecasting that it wouldn't perform well because people are going to Instagram for photos, for quick bite-sized escapism, not for deep dives. With YouTube, people are expecting long-form content, at least longer-form content, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, 20 minutes, now hour-long. There are video essays that are 5 hours long. I don't know how people watch that unless it's over a week. It's just crazy. But people go to YouTube expecting long-form content. YouTube is getting confused. I think they're losing their way by focusing so heavily on short-form content to try to capture the audience of TikTok. I don't think the audiences are the same. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't think that the expectations of the users are the same. When you open up YouTube, you're going to be searching for something. You're going to be looking for a longer form video. When you open up TikTok, you're going to be looking to scroll. Just feed me content, algorithm god. Please feed me content. I must escape the world and learn crazy things. Just feed it to me. Whatever keeps me watching longer. I don't think those expectations overlap. So when you're opening up YouTube, you're going for long-form content, but now YouTube is shoving down short-form content down your throat. I don't necessarily think that it's going to last. So I think YouTube is certainly confused. I don't think that YouTube will take over short-form content, and I don't think TikTok will take over long-form content. And I don't know what Instagram is going to do, because they have already completely alienated their user base. The content creators have abandoned it. Not all of them, but a lot of them are moving off because they dislike the platform so much. We haven't seen that exodus from YouTube yet. But I want to point something out. We are viewing YouTube from the context of content creators and or power users of the site. We are viewing it from that context because that's who we are. That is how we use it. So that is how we understand the platform. We need to understand the platform or try to understand the platform from the everyday user. The billions of people who use the platform who don't have a YouTube account where they're signed in so they can give it a thumbs up and leave a comment and share it to their community tab and have all these subscriptions. That's power user behavior, believe it or not. So we need to understand how all of these changes are impacting the day-to-day user. I haven't heard many complaints about YouTube from people other than content creators. So maybe there's not a problem with YouTube. Maybe the problem is just for content creators. Maybe it's just not catering to our specific type of content. That's fine if that's the case. Moving forward, we just need to adjust. We need to understand where our content performs the best and move forward with that information. So I think we need to understand that we are viewing YouTube through a certain lens when they are not catering to us. They're catering to the people, the billions of people who watch the platform, and they're trying to make the best experience for them. Now with 10 ads, maybe not the best experience, but we just may be a bit too close to the platform to see how things are really going. So I want to offer that as a alternative view. Thank you very much, Luca. I appreciate it. Hopefully that made sense. Next, we have a comment from Atoms of Stardust. They say, "See, that's exactly what I told you a few weeks ago. TikTok has a way better suggestion algorithm, and they actually do put your videos in front of people. While YouTube says basically, it's not our job, go promote your content somewhere else somehow. Now you see and feel exactly what I was talking about. It should be the platform's job to put your content in front of the people, and TikTok is doing that light years better than YouTube. So I think it's about time creators on YouTube stop making excuses for YouTube and start actually talking about the issue and demand changes to their algorithms to help put content in front of other people instead of simply saying, well, you can upload videos for free and overall YouTube doesn't owe us anything, and other nonsense like that." Atoms of Stardust, thank you very much for the comment. I really do appreciate it. I disagree with this almost 100%. The part that I don't disagree with is that TikTok is better at finding out who your potential audience is and feeding it to them. The question that I have is the quality of those views. I don't know what a view is calculated as on TikTok. Somebody else brought this up in the comments section, and this is something that I talked about years ago when Facebook was getting into video, the quality of the view. Facebook was counting 1 second of a video view as a view, and that allowed people scrolling through their feeds to just stop for a second. Okay, that's a view. Continue on. Oh, that's a view, that's a view, that's a view, that's a view. When in reality, that ought not have been considered a view. That's not an actual view. And that caused issues. I don't know if it actually led to any kind of lawsuits, but for advertisers who were funding content creators who were buying ads based on the view count, that view count was inflated. So I am skeptical about the quality of view. And I'm not saying that people who are watching the video, that their view doesn't matter. I am saying what actually qualifies as a view. I looked this morning, the video that I put out has 130,000 views. That's amazing. It has 20,000 thumbs up. So I am going to assume 20,000 people saw it. But I don't know about the others. Was it just 1 second and then scrolling on? Or was it, I'm going to watch 1 minute and 30 seconds? So I don't know. But I want to go back to what you're saying about YouTube and content creators on the platform making excuses for the platform. I don't think content creators are making excuses for the platform. I just simply don't think that us uploading content to the platform means that we are owed an audience. I don't think we automatically deserve an audience. Just because we spend our free time making videos, I don't think that means that we deserve views on that video. I may spend 12 hours on a single podcast episode. That doesn't mean that I deserve X amount of views, that my podcast episode deserves 1,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 downloads or listens or views on YouTube or shares on TikTok or whatever it may be. I don't think that me spending time has any direct correlation to the views that that piece of content will receive. I think time and views, time and success are completely uncorrelated. Some of my most popular videos took the least amount of time. Why is that? Because that piece of content appealed to the largest number of people. The videos that I have spent the most amount of time on many times end up bombing because people just don't care about it. And that is fine. That is how I chose to spend my time. If through sheer brute force, I have grown this podcast over 7 years, yes, I have been producing this for 7 years. If through sheer brute force and constant iteration and constant improvement, I have grown it to the point where I get 1,000, 2,000 views per episode, amazing. If I spend that same amount of time and get 50 views per episode, that's fine too. That is why I have always advocated not making content because you want the views. Do not make content because you think, oh, this is going to make me famous. This is going to get me internet clout. If you are getting into making content, I think you ought to be approaching it as, this is going to be a fun way to spend my time. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy making podcasts. I have this burning desire. I need to scream about this on a microphone, and if I don't, I'm going to explode. I think you need to be making content because of that. If you aren't making content because of that, what happens when you don't end up getting an audience? You get demoralized. You start hating making content because you're not doing it out of the joy of doing it. I can tell you, if there's a business person watching this and they hear me say, I have spent 7 years producing this podcast, audio and video, and I only get 2,000, 3,000 listens between video and audio, they would say, you are a complete and utter idiot. Wait, how much do you earn from advertisements on YouTube every single week? For the 5-10 hours you put into it? $5? You are a moron. And sure, maybe they're right. They're probably right. That's a really dumb value proposition, earning $5 for 5 to 10 hours of work. But my point is, I produce this podcast, and I have been producing this podcast for 7 years because I enjoy doing it. It's fun for me. So if I was getting 50 views, I would still be doing it. If I was getting 50,000 views, I would still be doing it. And just because I spend 5 to 10 hours a week producing this, I don't think that I'm owed an audience. I have 10,000 subs on this channel almost, let's say 9,000. I will get 1,500 to 2,000 views per episode. Not the best conversion rate. Should I be mad at YouTube for that? No. Should I be mad that my original podcast for the first couple of years was getting 300 views? No, I shouldn't be. I was still learning how to produce high quality and engaging content, and I am don't you dare leave a comment saying, this is high quality, this is engaging. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop bullying me. So I don't think that we are owed anything by uploading to YouTube. I don't think we are owed anything just by spending time on something. I think we need to ensure that we are offering value to people. But also, we need to understand where our audience is in terms of platforms. I'm not saying that a YouTube view is better than a TikTok view. I am saying I don't understand what a TikTok view is. Maybe those 130,000 views are people who watched all 1 minute and 30 seconds of the video. That would be amazing. But it sounds as though you have found your platform on TikTok. You have found your audience on TikTok. Why not go all in and produce all the content that you can for that platform, for the people on the platform that enjoy your stuff? I say go for it. That's amazing that you have found an audience. Most people don't. But going back to view statistics and finding your audience, yes, it does seem that TikTok can be better than YouTube. It can give you better views than YouTube. I said 130,000 views on my video about putting a condom on a microphone. On YouTube, that video is under 10,000. However, the video that I put out yesterday on YouTube has about 3,000 or 4,000 views, and TikTok has 50. So should I be saying, TikTok can't find me, my audience? What the heck are they doing? They're not giving my content. No. I am still learning what works from platform to platform, because the content expectations, just like the user expectations of what you go to a platform for, are different from platform to platform. That condom microphone video seems to have been tailored very well to TikTok. A video discussing the differences in lavalier placement may not be content that is ideal for TikTok. So I think that's important to understand as well. If you found your audience on a platform, if you found what type of content you're good at making and that is exclusively successful on TikTok, that's incredible. I am very happy for you, but I do not think we are owed a single thing just for uploading. I don't think we are owed a single thing just because we spend our time doing something. We should be making content because we love it, because we enjoy it, as opposed to seeking out validation from strangers on the internet. That is a road to depression and misery, because when those figures start to go down, boy howdy does it hit you where the sun don't shine. I'll tell you, it makes you reassess a lot of stuff. I am speaking from experience when I make this recommendation because I had to learn how to do this. I am still learning how to do this. It is a good idea to disassociate your self-worth, to disassociate your happiness, your joy, your enjoyment out of life, your enjoyment out of producing content from those views. Do not allow those views, do not allow the success of your videos to impact your self-worth. Do not allow the success of your content or lack thereof to impact your happiness. Now I am just giving myself advice, and I hope that didn't come across condescending. I'm just rambling at this point. I hope there was something helpful in there. And like I said a few weeks back when I was replying to you, it sounds as though you have found your audience on TikTok. If you have found your audience on TikTok, go forth and rock and roll. Go forth and make content that you enjoy on the platform for the people who enjoy watching you. Just because you succeed on TikTok doesn't take away from somebody else on YouTube. Just because somebody else is successful on YouTube doesn't take away from your success on TikTok. It's fascinating how the different platforms function. We are in interesting times, my friend, interesting times. Now let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Welcome to the Ask Bandrew segment, blah, blah, blah. Go to askbandrew.com, askbandrew.com, askbandrew.com. Send in audio and video under 1 minute. Amazing. First voice submission comes from Chris. Take it away, Chris.
Hey, Bandrew. My name is Chris. Right now I'm talking into the Austrian Audio OC18, which I love and which you were partially responsible for selling me on. My walls in my quasi recording studio, which is really just my bedroom. I do have some acoustic treatment, but probably not enough. I record audiobooks and nobody really ever complains. So I guess my only question is this mic too reverberant in this setting? I'm not going to de-reverb or anything like that because that makes it sound funky. Thanks, Bandrew. Chris in Connecticut.
Chris, thank you very much for the voice submission. I really do appreciate it. How about that for a voice, huh? How about that for a voice? Hey, I just made you say, you don't sound like that at all. I turned into a douchebag. That's not... I can't even emulate your voice, just that deep and raspy. I bet you can get some very authoritative characters flawlessly in your audiobooks. Instead of, hey dude, what's up? That's not how you sound at all. Oh boy. Your question. What was your question? Do you need more sound treatment, or does your recording sound good as it is? I think your audio sounds good as it is. Your audio sounds better than good as it is. It is not too reverberant. I would be more than happy to listen to an audiobook with that audio. You are well on your way to having the best audio ever. Audio sounds good, no complaints, not too reverberant. Go forth, record more audiobooks. Chris, well done. Next, we have an email from Ashley. She says, I really love how you include proximity tests in your microphone reviews. Can you please recommend which microphone have the best proximity? I record my in-person classes on my laptop and really need a microphone I can connect to my laptop that can pick up me talking and my students' comments from multiple feet away. Thanks so much, Ashley. Ashley, thank you very much for the email. I really do appreciate it. Here is how I am picturing the scenario in my head based on your email. You will be sitting at a teacher's desk presenting to students in the class. On the other side of the desk, 4 feet away or so, will be students asking questions. You want to pick up yourself, speaking and presenting, and you want to pick up the students. This means you're going to want a microphone that picks up audio from the front and the back of the microphone. Because of this, and because of the fact you want to be able to connect it to your computer, I am so excited to be able to say this. This is an instance where the Blue Yeti or a microphone of similar makeup would be ideal. How cool is that? I very rarely get to say that. The reason, maybe even the Yeti Nano. I think the Blue Yeti Nano is probably going to be your best pick here because that's a little bit cheaper. $100, if I am not mistaken. It's been a long time since I've looked at it. But $100, and the reason I'm recommending that, it has 2 polar patterns. Polar patterns tell you where around the microphone it picks up audio. One is cardioid, looks a little bit like a heart, picks up audio in the front. What you want to use is the second polar pattern, which is omnidirectional, meaning it picks up audio from the front, from the sides, from the rear, all around the microphone 100% of the way. That's what you want to use. The gain, the level of the microphone, is going to be a little bit weird because you're still going to be much closer to the microphone than your students, at least how I am picturing this. So that is where something like a compressor comes into play. And I think the Yeti Nano does have some kind of processing software available. I think. Blue Sherpa, is that what it is? The Sherpa software? So you should be able to do some processing to control the level from yourself and from your students. But the Yeti Nano is going to be what I would recommend because it's smaller, you can put it in a bag, connects directly to your computer, has omnidirectional, and you should be good to go. Once you get it set up and learn a little bit more about the audio, then you can dive into the Blue Sherpa software and learn how you want to process it to get the best sound out of it for your application. But I think just off the shelf, plugging it in, setting to the correct polar pattern will give you a good baseline to start with. Let me know in the comments if anybody else has recommendations for this specific use case. The only other option that I could think of would be a more complex setup where you have multiple microphones, one for yourself, one for your students. That would allow you to set the level for each microphone separately to get a more consistent level from you to your students, but that would be much more complex having multiple microphone setups and mixers and interfaces and or interfaces. Let me know in the comments if anybody else has any recommendations. I can't talk. Thank you very much, Ashley. I appreciate you. Next, we have a voice submission from Steve. Take it away. Damn you, Scuba Steve. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Bandrew? I was just curious if you had any experience with any of the head-worn XLR mics, like the SM35, the WH20 XLR, or the Audio-Technica Pro 8. I was just curious because I was wondering why more gaming streamers don't use something like this as an alternative to those terrible-sounding headsets. If they do sound better than a gaming headset, why haven't companies come out with an XLR gaming headset with a solid mic? I have seen a couple videos with the SM35, and it sounds way better than most of those gaming headsets. So I was just curious. Maybe you can do a video comparing something like the SM35 to some popular $100 mics like the SM58 and others. Anyway, I just started getting into audio gear, and I'm completely hooked. I just picked up an XM8500, which I'm on right now, and a Tascam US 1x2HR interface, and just started to learn how to use VST plugins and post-processing. So hopefully my newly acquired audio gear and post-processing sounds okay. Feel free to critique me. Anyway, thanks for all your great content, and keep up the awesome work, and also keep your head up on the housing front, and good luck. I know everything will work out in the end for you. Thanks again.
Steve, thank you very much for the voice submission. I really do appreciate it. Your questions: do you have experience with XLR headset microphones or clip-on microphones? And why don't companies put out gaming headsets with those mics? First, I do not have experience with those over-ear, clip-on, presenting microphones. I may or may not have ordered the Shure SM35, whatever it was you mentioned in there. I may or may not have ordered that. I cannot confirm nor deny this. And I think there's a very specific reason why companies do not put microphones like that on a gaming headset. Money. Money, money, money. I think that is the main driving factor here. And I am not saying that it wouldn't be a profitable product. I am sure their markups would allow for it to be very profitable. What I mean is understanding the market for those headphones. Before I got super into audio, I used a pair of $20 or $30 headphones that I got from Walmart. I found the idea of spending $100 on headphones to be... It was unfathomable. It was unfathomable to spend $100 on headphones. I couldn't understand it. Who has that kind of money to spend $100 on headphones? That's ridiculous. And a lot of people are in that realm. Increasingly so nowadays. As economics, we're not going to get into it, but going back to the point, if somebody is using a $20 or $30 gaming headset or $20 or $30 headphones, and they go to the store, they go to Best Buy or Walmart or Target or Micro Center or whatever to go buy a gaming headset, and they see $50, $100, it's going to be painful. It's going to be a hard sell to say, yeah, I guess I'll spend 2x, 3x, 5x what my current headphones cost. Why am I doing that? That's going to be a hard sell. Now let's look at the microphone that you are using. That microphone itself costs $150. If you want a pretty darn good set of headphones, it's going to be $100 to $150. So we have a good headset microphone that you're using, $150. Good pair of headphones, $150. Now we're saying, yeah, you're using a $30 pair of headphones. Spend 10 times the price for something that you're not even going to hear. You're spending $150 on a microphone that you can't hear the benefit of. So I think that is why we don't see as many headsets in that form factor using high-quality microphones and high-quality headphones. First place the money is going to go is to the headphones, because that is who That is where the person buying the headphones, buying the headset is going to notice the difference first, because they actually hear it. The microphone, they'll hear complaints. They don't hear it though. So if they get a massive improvement over sound quality of the microphone, their friends might enjoy it more, but they don't care. So I think that is why. It's just money. Economics. People don't have $300 to spend on a gaming headset. Might be fun for us, and I think there is a market for it as work from home continues to grow. Having a high-quality microphone and a high-quality pair of headphones in one set would be amazing. I would love to be able to just plug in a USB headphone microphone set and actually be able to listen to it without it sounding like I was being stabbed in the ears, and have a high-quality microphone so that the people listening to me said, "Wow, Bandrew, you sound really good." As it is, I plug in with a 3.5 millimeter gaming headset and it sounds terrible. Sounds terrible. That's my answer. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That is it for this episode. I have nothing else to talk about. I appreciate you all being here. You are amazing. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you. Check out the Elgato Wave DX review on Tuesday. I will see you then. Bye-bye. Whoop.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.